YouTube, what it do? Your boy Josh back with another story time. I want to tell y'all about the time my Airbnb host took me on vacation. Come on, man. You see how crazy these cars are driving, bro? Like, they will risk their life to get over one lane. It's absolutely insane to me. Anyway, my Airbnb host took me on vacation, which was a very shocking thing for me, man. Like, this is like my first time doing it. It was actually my first time going to Japan. I had broken up with my girlfriend recently during that time. So, this was more so like a release for me, I was going to be there for a month by myself. No girlfriend, no nothing. Just me, my Suica card. And, yeah. I went to this place called Tachikawa. And that is like in the countryside. Like, imagine you have a downtown in your city or wherever you're at, and then somebody decides to go to the suburbs of your city instead of visiting downtown. Like, it's really difficult for me to explain. It's like going to upstate New York instead of New York City. You would much rather be in New York City, but you're in the suburbs of New York in upstate New York. It's kind of like that. So that's where I was. Somewhere in the countryside, and they were so confused as to why I came there, and it was my first time in Japan. Wouldn't I want to go do something else? And it's like, well, yeah, I guess I would, but it was the cheapest Airbnb, and I didn't think it was too far from, like, Shibuya. It was like an hour away on the train, so I was like, whatever. That doesn't seem horrible to me, and to me it really wasn't, because I was there to relax. I didn't have anywhere to be. I didn't have anywhere to go. You're just there to relax. So, yeah, an hour commute is like whatever. When I want to go do something, I'll wake up early and do it. So, first night I'm there, I wake up in that morning, they're like knocking on the door. And I'm just like, who is knocking on this door? So I told them to hold on because I was sleeping naked. I wasn't expecting it. So, I opened the door and boom, it's the whole family. They had left a note. And they said, welcome, Josh and Elizabeth, but Elizabeth wasn't there. So when they opened the door, I was by myself. And they were just like, oh, you're by yourself? And I was like, yeah, my friend had something to come up. She couldn't come. That's just what I try to make it as simple as possible. And to my surprise, there's Tomoyuki-san, his wife, his 2 kids, and then a black girl. And I was like, a black girl? She was like, yeah, I stay over on the other side. And I was like, what? You stay over on the other side? That's crazy. She wasn't expecting to see a black dude either. Because you're just like, why are you even here? We're the only 2 black people in this city, which is kind of true. We were the only 2 black people there. But I was like, huh, cool. Anyway, where are you from? She actually ended up being from Italy. She was half Italian and half African. So she was from Italy. And she said, hey, if you're here by yourself, maybe we can hang out sometimes. I said, hey, that sounds fine with me. I'm 100% down to do that. So that's exactly what we did. We hung out and she took me places. But I'll leave that for another story. Okay, because we did a lot of things. So I'll leave that for another story. Anyway, because I was there alone in the country, Tomoyuki-san decided, hey, maybe we should invite him on vacation with us. Because I was there during this time called Golden Week. And Golden Week is when everybody's pretty much off work, and you go and you celebrate, and there's all these festivals. And, you just go and do different stuff. So he picked out things to do for that week already. And he was like, why don't we just incorporate him in the plans? So the first thing we did was one day we did this thing called Ichigo Gari. It was like the first thing that I can remember. And Ichigo Gari is essentially when you, how can I explain it? You go pick strawberries. That's what Ichigo Gari is. You go pick strawberries. And y'all didn't know this, but Ichigo means strawberry in Japanese. So if you like Bleach, yeah, Ichigo means strawberry. I don't know why they named him Ichigo. But yes, we went there and we ate strawberries. You pick them straight off the tree. They give you like this honey sauce. I don't know what it is called. I don't know what it is even. It was so delicious, so fresh. So we did that. And after that, we went and had a picnic with Tomoyuki-san's family. So it wasn't just like his wife and kids. It was like his mom, his dad, and his cousin. Like, we were all there having a picnic that Tomoyuki-san's wife prepared, which was dope. That was pretty dope to me. She prepared a lot of food. It was actually a lot of us, you know? And I was actually surprised. Like, Tomoyuki-san's wife is in super shape. I just was surprised by that. I'm just like, yo, you know, you don't really see Japanese women's forms, but I was like, this lady is in shape. She just looks in shape, you know, especially after having 2 kids. I'm just like, wow. Same with Tomoyuki-san, really in shape. It's just an interesting thing, you know. But I don't know, maybe, you know, he just likes being athletic and being in shape, and you know, he was just telling me a lot of stuff. So anyway, we were having a picnic, and then after that, the place that we had a picnic was connected to a zoo. And I don't know if y'all know about Japanese zoos at all. This is something that nobody talks about Japanese zoos. So I'm gonna talk about the zoo too. But after that picnic, you know, we took some pictures and did stuff like that. And we went to this zoo, and the zoos are meant for learning. You know, they're meant for like understanding nature, appreciating nature, stuff like that. And they let you touch baby animals. So in particular, they let you touch a whole bunch of animals. I'm not gonna lie, it's like a petting zoo. I'm not sure if all of them are like that, but I know this one in particular, a lot of families, a lot of kids, they just let you pet everything. And I remember, I don't really like touching wildlife. That's just me. Like, I'm from the city, bro. I'm from Atlanta, bro. I'm not from the country. I don't be touching chickens and, you know, goats and nah, bro. I'm not really an animal person. I'm not a wildlife person. That's just not what I'm into. But Tomoyuki-san insisted that if I don't touch any animal, I need to at least hold a baby chicken. And I don't know why he was so insistent. Generally, Japanese people are not very insistent that you do things, you know? They're just not very insistent on you doing stuff. But in this situation, he was like, hey, you hold a baby chicken. I was like, no, I'm nervous, you know? And he was like, no. And then he gives me this baby chicken. He puts my hand up and gives me the baby chicken. And I'm holding this baby chicken in my hands, and you can feel it struggling to stand. Like, you can feel his muscles balancing itself. It was so insane to me, bro. Like, it was an insane situation to me with holding that chicken. So I was like, okay, look, I've had enough of the baby chicken. I've had enough of holding this baby chicken. And I handed it off to Tomoyuki-san's wife, where she took it from me. And she's like, oh, the baby bird. And then it pooped in her hand. Which is actually pretty funny. The bird pooped in her hand. And she was just like, oh, man. I was like, I'm actually glad I got rid of that baby chicken, because I wouldn't have wanted to poop in my hand. But it was a wholesome moment, and it was funny because, you know, I don't know how often baby chickens poop, but, you know, that's what happened in her hand. It was kind of funny, not gonna lie. But, you know, after that, we ended up going to an onsen. And onsens, y'all know what an onsen is, maybe, but if you don't, it's basically a public bathhouse. You can't have tattoos when you go to a traditional Japanese one, and that's what this one was. It was more like on the traditional side, like it was this big wooden building, and then you go in there, and I don't think it was a natural onsen. I think it was just an onsen, but you go in there, there are like so many rooms. The girls go on one side, the guys go on the other side. So it was me, Tomoyuki-san. I don't think his cousin came. I don't think his dad came. I think they had departed from us because we all didn't ride together. They went and did their thing, but me, Tomoyuki-san, and his sons went to this onsen. And yeah, Tomoyuki-san was really, really locked in on relaxing. And his kids were just asking me questions. I mean, like bombarding me with questions in Japanese. And I'm like, I can't understand you. I was just like, oh, Wakata Nai. That means I don't know. Wakata Nai, I don't know. And then, oh, Wakata My Sin, I don't understand. And then they the kid was thinking about like, how can I say this so that he'll understand? And then he would ask me the question over again in Japanese. I just wish I had subtitles in real life. There are no subtitles. None. So he's just trying to figure out how to talk to me in Japanese. And I don't speak Japanese that well at that point. At that point, at least, I didn't really speak it that well. And he was like, So this old man comes in and he was like, oh, he's asking you where you're from. You know, he had like a deeper voice for a Japanese guy. He was like, oh, he's asking where you're from. And I was like, okay. And I told him, America, I'm from America. He was like, oh, and then he was like, where's America? And so this old dude in the onsen is basically translating everything between me and him. And then we have a nice little conversation. And the kid got to learn more about me. I got to learn more about the kid. You know what I'm saying? And then that was the end of the whole situation. All right. Now, after that, we went back to the crib, long day. They probably had dinner. I went back to my little apartment, and that was the end of that time. So maybe a couple of days later, they decided to take a trip to the beach. And this might have been like an hour drive or a 45-minute hour drive. It was something along those lines, but I was actually driving through the Inaka, or the countryside. Inaka means countryside. All through this countryside, and it looks like just farmland. Like they're like squares. Like you can see it and you see the squares. It looked very agricultural. All these squares that you're just driving by, different color squares, green squares, yellow looking squares, just all type of grass squares. But we get to the beach finally, and it's real cool. It's real nice. The sand is like a different kind of sand. It's like a dark sand. It wasn't like the sand that you would find on a beach in a tropical place. It wasn't like that. It was more compacted. It was more hard. I don't know if it was the time of year or whatever, but that's just what it was. Some people out there surfing, doing their thing. And me, Kiyata, Tomoyuki-san's wife, and his kids are out there just hanging out, We're literally just hanging out. So we did that stuff, and after that, we went to an aquarium. Now, an aquarium, they let you touch some things too, but they don't really let you touch everything. You can't put your hand in some water, so they didn't really do that there. But it was still a cool experience, Still a super cool experience. We go there, we're looking at these big old crabs, and we're taking all these pictures. I'm over there with Kiyata, and I'm over there, just doing little stuff, just playing around, having fun, having a good time, man. It was really a good time. I can't learn everything. And then we went to like this, how SeaWorld has the shows or whatever? Like they had this show go on where I can't remember exactly what was swimming. I think it was dolphins or something. But they had the dolphins swimming and doing these little performance tricks and stuff like that. It was actually a cool situation, bro. I can't cap. It was fun. After that, we went to a sushi spot, which was crazy work because this probably was the freshest sushi that I ever had in my entire life. I am not joking. That was the freshest sushi I ever had, but I was like, hold up a second. Everything we just saw in the aquarium is on this plate. Like we saw the fishes that are on this plate. We saw the crabs that were in that tank. They are now on this plate. And it tells you where they came from. Like it will literally tell you like, hey, actually, yeah, they got these fishes from over there. And like, it was just, I don't know. It was like a full circle moment, but I felt kind of weird. I'm just like, man, we literally were just looking at these fishes in captivity, and now we eating these fishes, and it's just, they taste good. Like, they're actually really fresh. So, after that, that was just interesting. Eating that sushi was interesting. It's probably all on my old phone, so I have pictures of these things. But, after that, we went back to the house, and Tomoyuki-san was just asking me about how is America. How is it being America and being black? He heard there was racism there. He was asking me a whole bunch of complex questions that I had to answer through Kiyata. So she was translating for me, but it was more of a little bit of a serious conversation, but it was cool. He was just like, I see. Okay. And I was just giving him a little bit more understanding from my perspective. And it was a good time. I'm not going to lie. It was a great time. So, that was pretty much my experience with going on vacation with my Airbnb host. Now, this is not everything, but I'm not going to talk y'all ear off for 30 minutes about every single thing that we did, every single conversation we had. But I also went and played sports with him. He took me to bars and he paid for it. He took me out to eat with the family multiple times. It was a lot of stuff that he took me to do, man. Like, it was a whole bunch of stuff. And I was just thinking, like, dang, this dude is like super, super, super nice. Because he didn't have to. But the only reason I think he did was because I was alone and I was in the countryside. So he's just like, why are you alone in the countryside? It didn't really make sense when I look back on it. And that's okay. Sometimes you go on trips and the things you probably plan don't make the most, they don't make the most sense. But they don't have to. So when you go to Japan, bro, just enjoy the time. Enjoy the adventure, bro. Like, honestly. Really, that's for any country. You should just enjoy the adventure. If you're going to go there, as long as you're safe. Shoot, just enjoy the adventure. It's going to be a good time. And usually, it is a good time. Usually it will be a good time. Especially in Japan. But I had never heard of somebody's Airbnb host taking them on a vacation. So I thought this might be a cool little experience, man. A little experience to tell y'all about. Because, hey, you never know if you're cool with the people or they're, like, cool with you or, if they're, like, your neighbor. Because a lot of times they'll rent out a place next to them. So, if they're your neighbor, you get to know them a little bit. They might be super cool, man. You never know. Just talk to them, get to know them a little bit. They might actually hang out with you. Seriously, they might hang out with you. And then from there, you'll have a friend in Japan forever. Because I still keep up with Topiyuki-san to this day. I still keep up with him, message him from time to time to this day. So, that's pretty much it for this story time, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it, bro. I'll see y'all.